This model, I really wanted to talk about competitive analysis at the business level. Again, Michael Porter has created a matrix for generic business level strategies. Generic meaning they apply to all businesses. So the point is, he says, who do you sell to, and what is the focus of your competition or competitive advantage or analysis? So who do you sell to? Or do you sell to all segments of the market? Or do you just sell to a certain group within that? So let's say for cars, classically, General Motors would have sold to every segment of the market. Whereas at one time, let's say, Jaguar would have made only sports cars and sold to a distinct group. Or let's go with a Bentley. It only sells to certain ones. How you sell is, or what your focus is are we trying to create a competitive advantage by being the low-cost producer, or do we get our competitive advantage from differentiating our product? So for Porter's generic business level strategies, he says, okay, we've got two fundamental strategies. One, be the low-cost producer. And for Porter, low cost doesn't necessarily mean a cheap product. You could be the low-cost producer of automobiles, and you're Toyota, and you produce it at less cost than everybody else, but you're selling Lexus, which is a high-end product. Or you differentiate your product, and you add different qualities, different functions, make it different than somebody else's, so you differentiate your product. Could be by quality, service, etc. So the fundamentally two: low cost, differentiation. Then if you go to the segments, you have, again, broad-based. You're trying to sell to a lot of different market segments, or you're trying to sell really in a niche market. So you've got low-cost niche and differentiation niche. So there are four strategies: low cost, differentiation, low cost niche, differentiation niche. Porter argued what you don't want to be is stuck in the middle, where you don't know what you're doing. Am I low cost? Am I differentiating? What is it that I'm supposed to do? And he argued initially in his theories that don't get stuck in the middle. However, research has been done that shows no, being stuck in the middle is not necessarily a bad thing. That you're trying to be as low cost a producer as possible, but also trying to differentiate your product from your competitors. So there are these hybrid strategies, value strategies in the middle, which have been proven both in manufacturing and retail to be effective strategies. So being stuck in the middle is not such a bad place. So there are really 5 levels that you look at in the business level strategies: low cost, differentiation, the 2 niches, and these hybrid strategies. Henry Mintzberg at McGill University in Canada says that low cost isn't really a separate strategy. Low cost always leads to lower prices. So therefore, all it is a type of differentiation strategy. And that really, all strategies are just trying to differentiate yourself from your competitors. How do you do it with low cost? You do it with price. We're going to be the least expensive product or service out there. That's how we're different from our competitors. For Mintzberg also, there was this idea of a copying strategy, that you will copy the best strategies of your competitors, your best practices, and this will give you an advantage, even though it may be temporary or fleeting. By copying the best practices of somebody else, you may be able to generate a competitive advantage, at least initially. In the long run, copying is not good, especially if we go back to our generic critical success factors and say, no, innovation and customer responsiveness are what give you a competitive advantage. Copying will not.